This hasn't worn off. This smile hasn't left my face, as I'm sure it hasn't left your faces either. 4 bronze medals, 2 silvers, and that gold. Yes, Neeraj Chopra took that javelin like it was our expectations and flung it so high, so long into that Tokyo 2020 night skies that by the time it came down, it had exceeded not only records but also our expectations and history as well. That is why this episode of Buzz This Week is dedicated to all our Olympians. Medals or no medals, you are all stars, and we thank you from the bottom of our hearts. On the show this week, Rain, rain, go to Spain. IPL 2021's do's and don'ts. Hey Australia, what's going on? And ABD, a storm is knocking. There are some social media trends that are okay when they start, but when they start recurring in every next reel, every next video, they become irritating. Like, हाँ माना 2 best friends हैं एक room में और नहीं कर रहे वो kiss, or I don't want to know if you believe in soulmates or not, and then sing a song. Pretty similar is the case with rain in England. शुरू होती है थोड़ी अच्छी लगती है, but then when it starts recurring again and again and again and starts hampering cricket games again and again and again, it becomes annoying. मतलब अभी तो ऐसा हो गया कि rain and cricket in England is like hostel की दाल. जैसे hostel की दाल में पानी नहीं, पानी में दाल होती थी, वैसे ही England में cricket में rain नहीं, rain में थोड़ा बहुत cricket होता है. The first test between England and India had everything. It had drama, it had comebacks. We saw how KL Rahul batted beautifully. We saw how Rohit Sharma batted so well. India's tail were batting so well. India's bowlers picked 20 wickets. Yes, fast bowlers. Jimmy Anderson Kohli battle was revived again. There were records to be broken. It was such a good game. India needing 157 to win on the final day of the test, and then rain robbed us of such a good game. और अब इस robbery की तो FIR भी नहीं कर सकते यार. It's just such a disappointment. The remainder of IPL 2021 is set to begin on September 19th in the UAE, and the BCCI has released an extensive list of standard operating procedures, the SOPs, for this tournament, because remember, the first half of IPL 2021 was played in India and was postponed indefinitely because of COVID-19 cases in various bio-bubbles. This time, to avoid that, the SOPs are very stringent. It starts with the RT-PCR tests that everyone making the trip has to take 72 hours before their departure. The players, support staff and commentators will all travel directly from the biosecure bubbles created for the England series, for the Sri Lanka vs South Africa series and the Caribbean Premier League. All of them will take a bubble-to-bubble transfer, while the others will have to quarantine. Upon their arrival in Dubai, on chartered flights, the team buses will pick them up from the tarmac and drop them at their hotels, thereby preventing any contact with people outside the bubble. There will be a total of 14 bubbles, 8 for the teams, 3 for match officials, and 3 for commentators and broadcast crews. Now that is quite an extensive list of SOPs, and the BCCI seems in no mood to take any risk at all.
बिल्कुल रिस्क नहीं लेने का है.
आप लोग तो नहीं ले रहे ना risk. Hanji, those masks should be on, those hands should be clean, because you never know when that dreaded third wave is around the corner. But there's good news for IPL fans though, because now a number of those England players whose availability was in question might now be included in the IPL. Eoin Morgan, England and KKR captain, has made it clear that he will travel to the IPL, while there are others who may not. But this window has opened because the Bangladesh vs England bilateral series that was to happen in that period is now called off. Morgan said that it is now up to the players individually to decide whether they want to travel to the IPL or rest that time out ahead of the T20 World Cup. What a strange sporting week this has been, right? I mean, who would have imagined Lionel Messi in any other footballing shirt other than Barcelona, right? Who would have thought that India will excel in a track and field event at Tokyo 2020? नहीं, हमें पूरा भरोसा था नीरज पर. There were some who were a little, perhaps too overconfident. Were Australia also thinking on the same lines when they landed in Bangladesh? Because when they took on Bangladesh in that T20I series, they were outplayed handsomely in all the departments, leading up to Bangladesh's first bilateral series win against Australia in any format. They beat them hands down in the T20I series. And that is a cause of concern for Australia because in the last few months, they've not won anything in terms of T20I series. And that will be troubling them. I mean, I understand that they don't have a lot of their primary players, but this is T20 World Cup here, Australia. And let me just remind you, only twice has it happened कि pre-board में कोई fail होकर boards में excel कर जाए. Once was in my 10th standard and second was when I was in my 12th standard. Just saying, it doesn't repeat itself that often. Race has been a problem in not only Cricket South Africa, but South Africa as a nation for a very long time, and nothing is untouched. Not sport, not cricket, not AB de Villiers either. Cricket South Africa started something that they call the SJN, the Social Justice and Nation Building Program, where they decided to hear from people who had race-related grievances who were a part of the cricket infrastructure in that country. And the hearings unraveled some very disturbing details. Kaya Zondo, who was a part of their ODI squad when they toured India in 2015, opened up in front of this body and said that he was kept out of the final ODI between South Africa and India in favour of Dean Elgar, who was not even a part of the main ODI squad and was flown in from South Africa while he kept waiting. And he said that AB de Villiers took him to one side and said that it was his decision to do that. In front of this body, Zondo said that he lost all respect for AB de Villiers. This, though, is also an account that was corroborated by the then South Africa selector Hossein Manak as well. AB de Villiers has denied these allegations outright, and while the rest of the hearings will continue and more details will come out on this in due time, all of this doesn't put a very pretty picture of Cricket South Africa, which is anyway reeling across all formats and is struggling to keep afloat. All that we can hope for is for these things to just go away and for Cricket South Africa to stand up again and for South Africa to play the exciting brand of cricket that they've been known for years. Your bus challenge this week is to give me one change, if you will make one, in Team India for the second test match. Will you change the batting order? Will you pull out one batsman, put one in, bring back Ashwin? What would your pick be? Tell us using hashtag Buzz this week, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Instagram. Let's get some conversation started. That's all that we have for you in this episode of Buzz This Week. Until next week, wear that smile broad on your face. It's a gift जो हमारे athletes लाए हैं टोक्यो से हम सब के लिए.